We're live for good shooting.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Judy Hopkins, Chair of the Allegheny County IDA. This is our monthly meeting this morning. We're glad to have you with us. In the room, members of the board, we have Randy Shaler and John. I want to say Regas, I don't know why.
It wouldn't mind being related.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, just flashed through my head.
Might not be here that way.
Sorry. On the, I want to say AI too. Sorry. On the screen will be Rich Yule, who is not joined us yet. Also on the screen we have Sean Perry, who is from Inverness, and Mike Zimmerman from the
Sickerman Group.
I'm sorry?
Sickerman Group.
Zuckerman Group, yeah. So thank you. We will be able to have conversation in just a minute. First thing on our agenda is to is the minutes. So do we have a motion to approve that so we can discuss them?
I'll move that.
Thank you, John. Second, Randy.
Second.
Thank you very much. Okay, are there any questions about the minutes from the last meeting? Okay, if not, we'll take a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That's passed. Okay. Moving along, we will take care of the treasurer's report. Do we have a motion to approve that, look at it? How about Randy?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, John. Okay. We got, you two will be busy today.
Yeah.
Good morning. We'll introduce our guests in just a minute. We're on the treasurer's report, so if you want to take a look at that and see if you have any questions on it, board members, we'll take a look at that. Actually looking at the abstract report. Any questions? If not, we'll vote to approve that. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is passed. Okay, thank you. Next, the banking and financial summary.
It's on there now. We have that one CD, so that was taken care of as we noted. So we're making money on our money, which is a good thing.
I would prefer
that.
It's always good to make money on your money.
Yeah, nice to have it.
There is a printout from the bank in the bottom of your folder that I did today on the CD,
Very bottom.
very bottom.
Okay. Okay, are we ready to vote on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That is passed. Okay. We do have some guests in the room as well that are going to join part of our discussion today. So Tim Boyd, why don't you all just introduce yourselves?
Tim Boyd, Deputy County Administrator.
Ashley Smith, Director of Economic Development.
Mike Healy, legislator for District 2, and I'm on the Economic Development Committee also.
Thank you very much. We're glad you're all here. Good. Okay. We're going to have a review of the use of funds.
The only thing I suggest, we'll talk to Sean in a bit, if we get the InverEnergy funds, we should put those in a CD as well. So we should probably have a motion to do that.
Okay.
In the anticipation, we should be getting that money next week. And again, that's why we put money in the CD before. We didn't need that for operating. So we're talking about, Michael discussed that as far as revolving loan fund, setting it up. But I think in the interim, we should put that all in a number of CDs because there's no reason to put that kind of money just in our checking account.
Okay.
So there should be a motion to do that, like we did
Okay, do you
before.
want to do that right now?
If you
Okay,
could,
I was gonna ask Sean to.
Yeah.
talk.
I also put a motion, once we get the Invenergy funds, that we should put them in a CD.
Okay, all right, would someone like to make that motion?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. Thank you, Randy. John, any discussion about that? I think we're pretty much in agreement that
Yes.
CDs are a good idea, so, if there is no other discussion, we'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We are expecting Rich at some point on the screen as well. I think though, actually, I'd like to go to Sean.
That's fine,
If we
yeah.
could. So Sean is driving right now, so we appreciate your being here. Sean, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, thank you, Sean.
Yes.
Yeah, if you could give us an update on the project, that would help the board know where we are. We had some discussions already, but I know it's moving forward. We're already doing some clearing and you're already building some work. So let us know where we are on it.
Mhm. And if there have been any changes since you
Talk.
were last here?
Absolutely. So no changes since I was last at the board in, I believe it was perhaps late summer, I believe.
Right.
Happy to report that the project's moving forward. We received our LNTP and approval for compliance filings for clearing and construction of our laydown yard. O&M building is continuing under construction right now in the town of Freedom. So we're doing good work there. We've got roughly 110 or so orientations for local laborers and operators on site who are participating in clearing activities with our contractor, the Weston Group out of Johnstown. Running a clean job site right now, and so far haven't run into any major issues in the field. So we're proceeding on time and on schedule, which is good accomplishment right now running the project. We received our 404 wetland permit from the Army Corps of Engineers in November. And also in late November, we closed on a turbine supply agreement with Vestas North America for turbine purchase for the project. So we reserved production slots. Vestas is currently manufacturing the turbines that will be delivered on site next year and in early 2026. So we're moving forward right now. We are in the field working on clearing. We have DPS approval lined up for next Friday, the 19th, for ground disturbance activities, civil grading and grubbing. Again, this is just for Weston to ensure that our limits of disturbance are clear of vegetation prior to start of major civil construction in April. We're currently diligencing the project right now with several lenders and hope to complete construction financing by the end of the year or early January of next year, and are still on schedule right now to start major grading, access roads, foundations, and trenching for collection lines in this April.
That's a lot going on. That's great.
Been a busy few months.
I live in the vicinity of where the project is going to be. Can you be a little bit more specific as to where in Freedom that work is taking place right now? If I wanted to drive by.
Absolutely. So the operation and maintenance building is on the corner of Route 243 and Zimmer Road in the town of Freedom. And our construction laydown yard is on Route 243, just a half mile down the road. It's technically within the town of Farmersville, but is on the corner of 243 and Huck Road.
Okay.
I just got a question the other day of what was going on out there. Now, I thought it was you, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's good for us to be able to answer some of these local questions that might happen too. So
What was that road? Hawk?
243 and what road?
Huck Road.
What was it again? Sorry.
Huck Road.
Huck?
Huck Road.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's pronounced Hike. I don't have a clear answer from the locals on how to pronounce it. some go either way.
Just,
But,
give us this,
but
give
yeah,
us the
just at the
spelling.
county line of Cattaraugus and Allegheny County, on 243 to the south.
We'll have to take a drive and find it. Good,
Yeah.
good.
And I did send Sean yesterday the required form that he needs to fill out quarterly as far as local labor. So he has that.
Okay, and Craig was just saying that the money should be here next week, is that right? That,
Yep, we've got, as it's a pretty large sum of money, we've got a separate approval process for sums over $1 million. So that is going through the chain of command right now and getting the necessary approvals. So we're anticipating late next week, hopefully, for the IDA to be in receipt of that wire transfer.
Christmas gift.
Merry Christmas, yeah.
Good Christmas bonus.
Yes.
Sean, I don't mean to be a hard guy here. That's an anticipation or that's a commitment?
That's a commitment. We're closing on our sales tax abatement with the IDA, and we anticipate to have the IDA transaction complete ideally by the first week in January. So the IDA should be in receipt of those funds for closing in short order here. And the project's moving forward, so we're all systems go. We wanna get this done.
Yes, I'm sure now that everything is a go everywhere, you are anxious to get it started and get it done. And how much time do you anticipate that it's going to be in the build process before you're ready for operations?
So we're looking at a 2-year construction window. For 2025, we'll have major civil activities. So our contractors will build the access roads, pour foundations for the turbines, and deliver the turbines to site. They'll also trench and install buried collection cables that will transport power from the turbines to our collection substation. They will get started on building the substation. We are hoping for energization in the spring of 2026 and final commissioning of the site in late 2026. So that'll be a current operations date of December of 2026.
It's going to be busy.
Yep, there's a lot of work to do ahead of us.
Did you say those turbines were built in the US?
Yeah, so we've executed the turbine supply agreement with Vestas with domestic content manufacturing. I believe
In layman's terms.
layman's terms is the manufacturing, steel, and raw materials for this are produced within the US.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Randy asked about any problems on getting local labor as we discussed yesterday.
So far, I've gotten no reports of issues with local labor. Right now, we're in the early stages of the project, clearing and construction of the laydown yard. So I haven't received any reports from the contractor of having issues with meeting the local labor requirement. But as for that quarterly report, we will keep the IDA board updated on any issues that we come into in the field there. And if there is a waiver that needs to be requested, you guys will know about it long in advance, and we'll work with you in order to meet the local labor requirement as best as possible. If there's contractors or workers available that are not within Allegheny County, but inside of those 9 counties that constitute local labor, we're happy to reach out and work with you guys on that.
Okay.
Anything else from the board?
Any other questions? Any questions from our visitors?
I think you answered everybody's questions, Sean, so you can go back to driving.
Safe travels. Thank you for
Sounds
being
good.
with us
It's
today.
pretty snowy out here.
Okay, well, have a good day. Thank you for joining us. You can leave if you can stay if you want, but you don't have to be on anymore. It's up to you.
Sounds good.
Thank
Safe
you.
travels.
Thank you to the board.
Thanks, Sean.
Appreciate your time. All right, take care.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, do you wanna
Let's go to
skip
Mike.
to Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. Mike, we're gonna, have your portion. We're kind of moving around the agenda today, but we appreciate your being here and, appreciate your time. So, yeah, why don't you share with us a little bit about what's going on with you?
Yeah, if you could get through the CBDG work first.
Sure. Yeah, so, as you might recall from a month or two ago, whatever it was, we had talked about putting an extension request in to the Archdiocese Community Renewal for CDBG funds for the microenterprise program to continue and extend that existing program that we have. That was a request we put together for an additional $300,000. That is on their agenda to be approved in January. So as of today, I can't officially say it's approved, but talk with staff and feel comfortable that that's should be approved in January. And that would, offer an additional $300,000 to make more microenterprise grants to start up small businesses throughout the county. We would have a pretty short time schedule to implement that. Probably about, I anticipate until December 2025, so just a year. There are businesses already existing that applied last round who would still be eligible and interested, as well as quite a pipeline through the Core Incubator Works of existing businesses who are interested and kind of ready to go. So I don't think there's going to be an issue in getting interest and funds committed. So in the interest of kind of time and moving it forward, what I wanted to suggest in front of you today is that we move forward with reopening the application process as early as next week, with a deadline in kind of early January. I suggest January 10th. We reach out directly to all the businesses who had applied previously and who are in the ACORD Incubator Works programs to get that application in front of them, as well as making it public so that it's publicly available. That timeline, I think, if we got back applications by January 10th, it takes us a couple weeks internally to review those and put those review sheets together that you've seen, so that we would have those hopefully in front of you by the February board meeting. Worst March if that timeline was delayed at all, so that we can get approvals going for those businesses going into next year. So great news that it looks like the program is going to be extended, and just wanted to kind of talk through, if you were comfortable with moving forward.
You're breaking up, Mike. We didn't get that.
You just ask if we're ready to go forward. We'll put it on our website and get that out as long as the board agrees with that timeline.
Okay. Questions about the timeline?
Yeah, we have the application, so all I gotta do is put it back on. We are, like Mike said, we already have enough people in a pipeline. We'll fill it out pretty quick.
What about somebody who applies who hasn't taken the Accord course?
We're not gonna have time for them to take the course.
They won't have time. They can't apply first and then get the course before.
I don't think they will. Will they have time? Mike?
Yeah, so, you can apply if you haven't taken a course yet, but because this timeline is so short, I don't know that there will be another course offered in time.
Do we have enough in the pipeline?
Yes, we have enough in the pipeline
Okay.
between the people that applied, they didn't get it last time, and they've run another course in the fall. So we have plenty of people in the pipeline to make,
All right,
so
Yes,
obviously if
we
we
know-
don't, we would allow them to, but I think for the most part, we need to make sure that they've already got the course, otherwise they won't be able to get done by December. But we'll have that option. He'll bring those all applications to us.
Any other questions for Mike?
Yeah.
Tim?
Just to confirm, you administer, the county applies, we have everything in place so that the
Yes.
timelines are not gonna be,
No,
okay.
everything, like, that's why,
Sorry.
everything's been signed off by Brooke and everybody, so all the paperwork is in. Like Mike said, the biggest thing is just having them fully approve it. They've actually approved it verbally.
Right.
Everything's in, it's ready to go. It's just whether or not they have to have their board approve it.
Right, I just wanna make sure we were smooth. in that.
Yeah, we'll actually make it clear on the application that it's pending the approval.
We don't wanna be delaying any of this good stuff.
That's what we don't want to do, yes. No, everything's been done. As Mike knows, it's taken a lot of paperwork, and a lot of signing by Brooke and everybody downtown.
The December timeline means that you have to disperse the money to the companies, is that correct?
Yes. And we always can get an extension, but it's not going to be a long extension, because we've already got one extension. Any other questions for the board? Is that okay to go forward with those timeline? I think it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to post the same application we had before then? Right, Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
Do we actually have to make a motion or an official vote, or
Probably
just?
should.
So, okay. John or Rich, would one of you like to move that we continue with the process and follow the timeline that Mike has outlined for us for the next round of CDBG? I can never say that. CDBG.
Just say micro enterprise. I can say
Micro
that.
enterprise. That's the motion.
I'll move it.
Okay, thank you, John.
Second.
Second by Randy, thank you.
My only other thing on it, before we move on to the next thing, is how, we have just one company left, is that correct? The first phase?
Yeah, so the first round, we ultimately wound up with 10 companies, 9 of which have been completely funded and are through the program. There's one remaining that hasn't received their funding yet. I talked with him in October, so the existing contract would have expired in November. It's now getting extended. I spoke with him in October, still wants to move forward and was ready to make all the purchases for the grant. But as you know, there's job hiring required. And he was kind of in a holding pattern of, well, I don't think I'd be able to hire somebody before this contract ends in November. So if it's going to end, I'm not going to be able to complete this in time. But if it's going to get extended, I certainly can. So now that it's been extended, or is being extended, his project should move forward.
So, and how long does he have to hire someone now with the extension?
He would have through this extension, so through December of next year.
Okay. Okay,
So Mike's done a good job. We have got 9 companies completely reimbursed, so.
Yeah.
That's why we could do the extension, because most of the work is done. Thank you, Mike.
okay. Okay, all those in favor then? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Anything else for Mike?
Well, then the other question was, we talked about setting up a revolving loan fund, and there's some processes that we need to set up. And the Harrison Studio Group has done that, as we mentioned, for Jim Pierce in Wyoming County, many other counties.
Mhm.
And so there's a proposal here to basically set up a helping us setting up a revolving loan fund.
And did you all get that, the proposal that they had from Harrison? Did you all get a copy of that?
Yeah, right here.
I mean, it's best to use somebody who's already done this, so we don't have to go
Yeah.
reinvent the wheel.
It's after the yellow tab.
Do you have any comments on that proposal? Mike, you want to add anything?
No, I mean, it's really exciting that you have this opportunity. Yeah, I'm thrilled to work on it with you with a lot of ideate loan funds in our portfolio, and we'd love to be a part of it.
And you've done this for other counties already, Mike? A similar program? Can you share how many counties or specific if you want to be or not be?
Yeah, I didn't tally it up beforehand, but I mean, we in some fashion, some of them is, starting it from scratch, others it's just kind of, helping underwriting and maintaining their portfolio. But we've done that in Chautauqua, Niagara, Wyoming, Livingston, most of Western and kind of Finger Lakes, IDAs, we participated one way or another, so.
And would we still be eligible for the micro enterprise as well to get additional money for businesses?
Well, this
Would
is
we
complete-
switch over to this?
completely separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would still be able to.
Can we have both, is what I'm saying?
Well, the micro enterprise process is through the county, so yes, that's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, I just want
This
my
is our
cake and
money.
eat it too. Yeah. I want to know. Okay. The members are kind of looking through.
Any
the
questions or
proposal.
comments on the proposal?
Are there any questions from the county folks about it? Is this something that you're all in favor of?
Yes.
Okay.
All good.
Okay,
Go for it.
just giving our members a couple of minutes to see if they have any questions.
Do you have the criteria already set out, or this is just the first step?
Just setting up processes, and we haven't set up criteria yet, because I know Wyoming County actually split theirs into 4 different revolving loan funds. So we have not discussed that yet. It's the process. All the paperwork and figuring out how we're gonna do it.
And the expectation, Craig, if I understand correctly, is that we will be ready to go coincident with the expiration
Correct.
of the CDs.
Right, and that's what I figured, it would take us some time to get this process set up. And that's why we want to, while we're getting it set up and discussing the actual revolving loan fund, what we're targeting, that's why we want to put the money in the CDs. Some short term, so we would have it available. We're not gonna obviously use all that money right away anyway.
So we have
Yeah.
a bunch of CDs.
That's right, in different phases.
Different phases.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
And obviously, there's some dialogue that Mike will have to have with the board as far as the requirements and everything else, so. It's nice to be able to be in this position.
It is very nice. Any questions from the board?
Is there a motion to
Yeah,
approve
we
that
need a
then?
motion
I'll
to,
move.
okay.
Looking to you, Randy.
Busy morning for you too. Thank you. Okay, I'm assuming there is no more discussion. We've given time for that. I think we're ready to vote then. All those in favor of establishing the process for this revolving loan plan, please say aye.
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 So I'll get that to you signed, and we'll get everything posted for the CBDG so we can move forward on micro enterprise as well, Mike.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Mike, before we lose you, a quick question. We utilize a quarter, going back to the micro enterprise stuff. We utilize a cord and incubator works to, I believe it's a requirement for the application that they have completed a course.
Right.
If they're in the background, let me give you the background. We had a couple revolving loan applications come through the village of Wellsville recently that were from graduates of Accord with their business plan, et cetera. And the business plan was obviously a cut and paste. And the reason that I say that is in the competition, in the competition section, a competitor was listed who wasn't even in the same industry. So I guess my question is, have we or are you looking at other options to augment the Accord and Incubator Works instruction, or is there such a thing? So that we could open it up and contact those organizations also to say, do you have anything?
Yeah, that's the question. When we established this program, we identified Accord and Incubator Works as the entrepreneurial trainers in Allegheny County. So they're kind of already established. You can accept entrepreneurial training for applicants from other sources. If they've attended an SBDC class, if they've even taken, professional development classes through a college or something, as long as it meets state requirements. So we could look at those kind of case by case, just that Accord and Incubator Works were kind of predetermined and eligible.
Yeah,
they're not the only option.
Yeah, they're written in the original application. That's why they're the requirements. But I didn't realize you could substitute.
You can, you have to make sure it meets, the state has some basic requirements that you have to get their dispensation to do, but you can substitute.
That's what I was saying. They would have to approve it, right?
Yes, they would.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So time
would be a vested.
Time would get away from us.
In this particular time, yeah.
If we find ourselves in a situation where we reinitiate the micro.
You may want to broaden it, yeah.
That might be the time to look.
Yeah, when you do another grant application, if you put another venue in, but I think it's nice to have Accord and Incubator Works, the core ones, because they're usually dealing with local folks. Yeah. But I agree with you. We could broaden it.
But there's a little, at least the mayor of Wellsville had questions their product.
Well, you do know the one thing that I want to give Mike and his group a kudo is we get a much better refined plan because Mike and his staff work with them to make that Accord or Incubator Works project a much better business plan, right?
I'm not.
No, I'm just saying.
None of this is.
But I'm just saying. But that's what
I'm
just saying. Harris Studio makes sure that business plan is refined much more than what you get from Incubator Works or Accord. And I want to thank you, Mike, for doing that.
Yeah, they're always very complete.
I mean, they're much more complete when you actually go through them. Because Doug has mentioned that from the banking perspective. He's never seen such good plans. So thank you.
Quick question for Mike. Mike, quick question. In the past awards that are already, fulfilling the grant, are they allowed to change some of the plans that they made in their original proposal or not? And is there any kind of look back from Harrison Studios about, checking to see that they have done exactly what they proposed?
So it's a good question. There's a little bit of latitude in terms of changing what they proposed, in the sense that, if they put an application in that said, we're going to buy 3 pieces of equipment, and then a year later they go forward and they find that maybe one of those doesn't make sense anymore and we want to buy a different piece of equipment, but it still was going to accomplish the goal, then that's fine. That's still acceptable. If they want to use the money for some totally different purpose that is not equipment, to expand their business the way they said they would, then we would, it wouldn't be eligible. And we see that, when they go to submit for, these are the costs we want the grant to cover, because it's all reimbursement, that is part of our due diligence, is checking, is that what you said you were going to do? And does it still meet the accomplishments, job creation being the biggest one? And if so, yes, it gets funded. We don't, typically, once they've been funded, from the state's perspective, they've met their requirements, they're good to go. So we don't usually do a lot of kind of follow-up, a year later, how's things going? Are you still operating, the way you wanted to? That kind of follow-up is a little bit beyond the scope of the grant, but it certainly is valuable and we do it. Because it probably would be really difficult to do. But in terms of, they've already kind of met the grant requirements, so they're clear, if that makes sense.
It does, thank you. I just wondered what kind of a look back program there might be along with that. So, thank you.
Mike, what if somebody that we qualified last year got a bite of the apple, but not the full bite? They wanted 35, they're only qualified for 20 because they didn't write it right. Can they apply for this one, or are they done? Maybe rewrite it and say, hey, we'll go this direction? Or is that out?
Yeah, if they've already been funded in this round, that's a great question. I think we would be allowed to amend their award and offer them more funding. But I want to caveat that and let me talk to the state rep about that. Because if they've already been funded and met their accomplishments, the state might look at that and say, well, you're adding more money and not getting more accomplishments. You know what I mean? So I'll have to double check on that, I guess.
Okay. Throw a little monkey wrench in there.
Our board is thinking this morning, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Mike? Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mike. It's always good to work with you, and we appreciate all the work you do.
Yeah, the fortunate and unfortunate thing, I know when we announce it and put it on the website, we'll get another big package because people are really waiting to get this more money. It's one of the few small grant systems actually is fairly significant. To get $25,000 or $30,000 is huge for these small companies. Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
Good.
Thanks, Mike.
Have a good Christmas, and I'll be in contact with you before that, don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a really good relationship. Mike does a really good job, and the group is really well known. They do some really good work throughout the state.
Yeah, he's always been very thorough, and I think we all want to keep it going as long as we can.
Well, this was really an interesting one to be able to get done that quickly, because as you well know, usually it takes 6 months to 9 months to get approval for a grant. Then you only have like a year to go anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, I think we'll be able to spend the money too.
Good. Okay.
County looks good on this one.
That's good.
It's always good to give out money, isn't it?
That's right.
And especially when it's somebody else's.
Oh, and especially when you can,
Right?
You get a return on your investment.
But you're getting really good return. I have the full list. I'll get that from Mike. We'll put it in a report. But I think of all the ones that I checked on, even the first time, they're almost all still open and doing well, but we could verify that by just some phone calls. I wouldn't go through the long, are you doing what you said you were doing, but are they still open and successful? And I know the very first group is pretty much still open. So I think that's the issue. Are they still open in business?
And it's really good to disperse it in such a wide range of businesses across the county. So that's good. Okay, let's take a look at the agenda here. We've kind of jumped around.
Thank you, Judy. I think you did a good job moving around.
Okay, thanks. Let's go back quickly to the building maintenance report. I'm sure that's not very long.
The good news is, no, they've been on and off again about our chlorine. Ben's been having trouble keeping the chlorine level high enough. What happened is we over chlorinate it, and then the whole system is basically the chlorine's taken out, and he's having some trouble with the pump. You know what that's like, hopefully. But anyways, we're fine. He's been down here. There's nothing. And the other two things I think I did report, or I want to report, is I put in, we're at the time that we have a speedies permit. It's every 10 years, you have to renew it for our septic system. And I've done all that work, and it shouldn't be a problem. I think it gets renewed in April. It's an online process. And then we've also had to do a report on what kind of pipes we have in the building, because they're really following through on lead pipes and even copper with lead.
Mm.
And our building was built after that issue, so I've reported all that. So there is now a file with the state. The Department of Health requires it. It's a requirement for anybody that has any public water that has it on file that you don't have issues with lead. So,
Questions?
what, Mike? You have a question?
I'm sorry.
Tell me what your total footprint is.
You have to hit me or something.
The total what?
Your total footprint here. Your lot size.
The lot size, I don't remember the lot size, to be honest with you. It's in our appraisal. I don't know. I can't give you all the top of my head. Sorry. I get it to you.
8,400, is that?
All right, thank you.
What's that?
8,400 sound right? 11,000?
Well, he said lot size. I don't know how big the lot is.
Lot size, as I recall. from
You're talking about
the other
Yeah.
information, like 16 acres?
That might be about that. That's what I can't remember. I didn't want to throw that out because I can't remember how much it was.
I'm not certain of that, but that's. what
But I can get
think
you
it
that.
said.
Give or take.
Give or take, yeah. Give or take 16 acres, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see, what else did we miss? Where do we need to?
Well, I don't know if we got any of the insurance stuff, because Rich was gonna bring that up.
Yeah,
Did anything get sent to you from Chase?
Yeah, and I put it in packets. It should be one of the tabs. It's a part of an email.
That one email, Barb, yeah. So I don't know if we wanna wait till Rich is online, because he was the one that was asking the questions about the umbrella.
I would prefer to wait if there is.
I think there's no hurry. I
If
think
we
we
don't
have
have a
adequate
deadline, it's
insurance. No,
Okay,
I think I would wait to discuss that when Rich is online or in person.
is that agreeable with the board
Yeah.
to wait?
Because he's the one that asked the question about the umbrella, but you do have the information from Chase, what it would cost.
Okay,
It's not, look like a lot of money, but we ought to discuss that with Rich.
okay,
I just want to keep it on the agenda because we've had it on the agenda. Otherwise, we forget talking about it.
well, it's really important, yeah. Okay. Okay, that's done. Okay, I think we are then in our agenda.
Back to the old business.
Yeah, the old business, so. First item there is the local development fund.
Well, as we noted last time, we got our local development fund approved by the state. I don't know what the issue was with the, Rich picked it up, but everybody else did, including myself. There's a wrong address in there. They're fixing that. I don't know where that address came from. I have no idea where that address is. We will fix that. I've sent that to the lawyer, so they're gonna fix the filing.
Okay. Do we have the EIN
They
number?
have not got the EIN number in the state, so I don't know if you've got your EIN number, 'cause I know everything was filed and you're approved for the EDO, but you can't really do business till you get your EIN number. So that's really down to the,
You can't,
PDO.
just can't take any
well, you
funds.
can't, well, so you
Or
really
pay
can't,
anything.
do business, is what I'm saying. Do you want to add anything from the strategic economic development, anything we did on Tuesday?
No, I mean, we did come together as a regional group just to have a
Right.
discussion on, alignment for projects, but our core team has to come back together and review everything that was put forth during that meeting, and so hopefully maybe the next time we'll have something to
Okay.
present on.
Gateway, do you want to mention anything on the Gateway, Tim?
Road project has started.
Right, I know that, heard that last time.
We're working on some of the other aspects, the engineering and moving that forward. We anticipate another funding allocation, congressional earmark in the amount of 1.25 that will be used to address both the sewer and water projects. kind of caught up in the continuing resolutions right now in Congress, but we anticipate sometime in early January, there'll be another 1.25 coming forward. We're in the process of looking at next steps for continuation to enhance that project, since, you know, this is getting kind of our full attention because it's a project that's in process and we'll see a lot of results, but there'll be some ancillary benefits to the balance of the county. So right now, this is the one that's moving forward, and probably see the bulk of the effort from that standpoint. So, sewer study, comprehensive sewer study is underway. Lots of activities at the county level through the benefit of state and federal funding. So it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 million.
I did send the board the pictures of Tamarack as well as the pictures that we've had at Alfred State College of what potential cultural arts center out there.
Yeah.
'Cause I know we've talked to Delta about getting some funding to build that facility out there. So
yeah, that's another conversation that we'll be having on Tuesday with Delta, and they did give us some assignments for that. But what we're looking at with Delta and that project in particular is through the ARC Power allocations that are available, the Appalachian Regional Commission. So we're hopeful.
I think it fits perfectly from what they gave out. They gave some more money to Tamarack and very similar cultural arts center. And the nice thing about that, it's a big enough chunk of money to go after. It's $2 million.
Jim, can you be a little bit more specific about what is allowed and what it might be? What are we looking at having here?
What are we looking at having as in, I'm not sure I know
What I'm asking.
Yes. I'm not
Well,
sure
the vision is to have a cultural arts center, which is basically housing artists in Allegheny County and the region. And it's also like Tamarack, and we both have been there a couple times. It has not just artists, it has anything that's manufactured, built in the community. It's got things like farm products, farm to table stuff. It has all kinds of potential.
His restaurant
Yeah.
also has the opportunity to host events,
Right.
so that if you wanted to have say the IDA wanted to do a meeting, that there would be an auditorium-esque type component to that you could seat people and use that as kind of a storefront. Tamarack, if you are familiar with it, does talk about local and statewide artisans as restaurant opportunities, really provides kind of a visioning or a gateway into West Virginia coming in from Kentucky. I moved to Kentucky, they're coming up from Bluefield.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what I was
Yeah.
mentioning to Judy before, it was interesting because very few people stop because they don't know what it is. But they're building a travel center right in front of it. So people will now stop at the travel center and then they will go to Tamarack. We already have the travel center. So I think it's kind of interesting that, but without the travel center, people just don't stop.
Yeah.
But now they'll be getting off, and I think you'll see many more people in it. It's a great facility. It has some great products in there. It's really kind of a neat place to
So
stop.
it's, yeah, and as long as, well, and we're working in collaboration with you from the standpoint of for the funding piece, because we'll be kind of the conduit for with Delta to get the funding. That this is really, you know, we're enhancing the IDA property that's over here. So I think that's a good partnership
Yeah.
that we're looking at.
So the vision is this, but it's really going to be up to how much funds we can get.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm thinking of if there's an audience out there, that'd be good for them to know that too.
I keep forgetting we're live. So.
I know.
Well, you do know that
And
I've
there may
warned
not be
people.
anybody out there, but we have to.
They picked up something and basically made it sound like they had talked to me, but it was only on this website. That one last thing about Great Lakes cheese, I did not talk to anybody. They just took it off this live feed. So yeah, there may be something, there'll probably be something on live feed now in the paper.
Okay. kind of done a combination of things, I think, but in terms of our visitors today, are there some things that you would like to share with us or ask about, or?
There is one item, and I did look at, in reviewing the minutes that you had from last month regarding the potential sale of the parking lot. That is something that the county uses.
Yeah, it's posted on our website, and we put it out for basic, not bid, but anybody can actually give us a price. A court has given us an offer, and I was gonna send it to you and Carissa if the county's interested. We don't really care. And Mike had brought up if a public entity wants to buy it too, or private, sorry. So it is listed on our website.
But I guess part of the purpose for bringing it up is that it is something that is utilized by the county, and it's still available and accessible to a court at no
Sure.
cost, and is tied to the Belmont Betterment District, good, bad, or indifferent,
Right.
from the standpoint of that building is still in play, whether it is sold, is not sold, it is part of an asset, which is why it was given to the IDA. So I guess
We paid $20,000 for that,
you paid $20,000.
just so you know. We weren't, nothing was given to us.
Okay, all right, I have to.
It's not what it's worth. That's what I can
I
tell you.
stand corrected, because I was gonna give you $1 for it today to keep it in the county, because I thought that's what the transaction was, but we would,
We'll take this money.
We'll take,
We'll take
$20?
the
Take the
Take it off.
$20?
Take the 20K, yeah.
but we would
But it
request
can't.
reconsideration before you sell that property, so,
okay.
because it is something that we use. And,
Well, all I can say is the court has actually offered, me able to coordinate that they've already offered to buy it. So we can have a discussion. We do not have to accept any offers. It's very clear. It says we will consider, offers above the appraised value, but we didn't say we would actually sell it.
yeah, I think we were kind of surprised to see that it was sold.
Well, that was the only reason, and Mike was at the discussion, we talked about it 3 or 4 months ago, is the court offered to buy it. They wanted access to it for various reasons. One of the reasons they actually want to use it for mobile food pantry as well. And they've been on the insurance policy, they've been covered, so we're in no real hurry to sell it, just that they wanted to buy it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to pick up all of the intricacies.
Sure.
Just from the minutes.
Well, just let us know, because there's no real issue except for that someone had asked for it. We thought they were an appropriate body that would still be used, I think, for the county, so.
I'll like to add my opinion on that. As a resident of not only District 2, county legislator, and of Belmont,
Sure.
and I've talked to all local governments, town and village. None of us think that would be in the best interest of anybody to go to court corporation. I think the IDA's gotten an awful lot of support out of the county that some agreement, reasonable agreement ought to be reached for the county to have a property. But it's would not be positive for my local community, that's my opinion.
Yeah, we don't want to stand in the way of it, it's just better understand.
Yeah, we only did this because the court had requested it, and we didn't really have a use for it. We had it for years. And obviously we overpaid for it to try to help people. And the question is why we don't, really, someone has to have ownership of it that wants to take care of the parking lot or close the parking lot. That's the real issue. The parking lot's in disrepair.
Who did the IDA acquire it?
I'd have to go back and look. I
Private
can't remember.
entity?
No,
Was it the school?
what happened is when the school closed, there was like you said, there was always worried about the parking lot not being available for development. And so I believe we were asked to buy it, and John Fold bought it years ago because of that. So basically, to make sure that the parking lot was available if development ever happened in the school. But why, the confusing thing to me as an IDA board member or executive director, excuse me, as to why I didn't go with the school to start with.
Should have.
I don't know why that happened. I don't know what happened, but somehow John Fold was asked to make sure it didn't go away so that if development happened, there was a parking lot available.
And who owns the school today?
The
county owns it?
Betterment District.
And it's getting to a point, I'm not sure it's salvageable.
I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah,
So,
it was
It's too
still
bad,
afloat
'cause-
when we bought the parking lot.
It's too bad. When I went through it, it was in really good shape.
Mike, I just wanted to ask
That
you,
was 10 years ago.
you said that
maybe 15.
the people you talked to were not in favor of going the direction that it could be going. Did they have any suggestions or thoughts on what it should be used for?
Well, I think their first day we hadn't been part of the discussion, I don't think, neither the village or town. And I don't know how much the county's been involved or not, other than would have been sold that day I was here. If I hadn't been here before, it would have been sold to that corporation. I think it ought to be, it's probably tied to the school property, because for something to happen to that school property right now, that'd be, I think, essential. So where the county could be the holder of it at some reasonable accommodation. I think they've helped out the IDA considerably up here. I think some reasonable solution ought to be able to be obtained to be beneficial to all parties. Absent of, obviously the county would have the money to take care of it. So the IDA, I'm surprised if it's in bad repair. I'm surprised that's.
We don't use the lot, Mike. There's no reason for us to invest in it.
No, I know that, but it's your lot. It's used for public parking now. That's my only question. But I think it's instrumental to the betterment of the community and even county government that we maintain control of it to the IDA or one of the local governments.
Good, thank you.
And you believe that the other governmental bodies should have been made aware of what government?
Well, they are now.
That's always been one of my biggest beefs since I've been on the board of legislators. There's not enough communication. And you're, as mayor, well, I'm sure that you are aware of those issues.
You understand why I'm asking the question? Yeah. Okay.
But it's available. If any body, including the town, the village, or the county that wants to acquire that, it's available.
Yeah. Okay, let's move along then. I'm really kind of lost here.
Well, there really isn't much on clean energy. The biggest clean
No.
energy, we just had an update from Alley Cat Wind. The other solar projects, the only ones, Burns, are moving forward, and the other ones are kind of, we have not closed any new projects, so.
Yeah, I think here we have the Allegheny County Strategic Plan, Economic Development, /EDO, and I would ask
Ashley just
maybe
gave a
to-
report.
What's that?
She gave a report.
Okay. I was thinking there might be something else. Okay.
The only other thing is the EPA Brownfield grant.
Yeah.
And it's taking longer than I'd hoped to get the grant documents to the board for signing and reviewing. I have actually had some discussion with them the last couple of weeks. I would guess sometime by the next board meeting, we should have a document to sign to actually have the grant. They just have been very slow, and I've talked to consultants. It's just, they've had some issues about getting grants out of the office. I don't know why, but it's not my problem. We've done everything we need to do, so hopefully by January, we'll
Okay, and the Great Lake Cheese Cuba facility is on the agenda and
I have no
And no-
updates,
no updates, yeah. Okay.
except for
Just
what
for the
John had
minutes,
brought
there's
up
no
the other day, they're still talking about moving out in February, but
Right. That's all I've heard.
Okay, I think we can move on to new business then, unless I've missed something along the line.
I think you can.
Is there any new business?
The only thing, we should go in executive session.
Yes. Okay. All right,
Sorry,
I think we're ready for
won't
that.
be very long.
This is like longer than normal.
I know.
Oh, okay. It's been longer than normal the last few months. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean,
Move to go
anybody's
into
available,
executive
we're in no
session?
hurry to sell it.
Need a
so-
I'll
motion? Okay.
So you can stay.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Right.
We are in executive session.